You're welcome to the Gavel. I'm Linda Akibi. All eyes are still on the aviation sector, as the sector has been rocked by scandals in the last few days. Now, both houses of the National Assembly during the week took on the Minister of Aviation and some officials in the aviation sector on several issues, such as, the controversial procurement of armored vehicles, purportedly for the minister by the NCAA, and the issue of air safety in the country. We'll begin today with a probe by the House of Representatives on the procurement of the armored vehicles, purportedly for the Minister of Aviation by the NCAA.
The House of Representatives Committee on Aviation's investigation into the controversial procurement of 2 armored cars by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority continued this week. The chairman of the House Committee on Aviation set the tone for the meeting.
The activities of the Federal Ministry of Aviation have continued to elicit several comments that disparage the integrity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The purported purchase of 2 BMW bulletproof cars worth $1.6 million by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority for and on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Aviation, Princess Oduah, is a sub-point against the efforts of this government in the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Jonathan. The issues raised by the purported purchase of the vehicles include, but not limited to, official corruption, contract inflation, breaches of the Appropriation Act, violation of the procurement laws, misapplication and misappropriation of funds, among others. This committee and indeed the House of Representatives will not fold its arms and allow a few individuals to continue to drag the image of its name or the name of this country in the mud due to perceived greed or incompetence of these few individuals. This committee is determined to get to the bottom of this matter and unravel what went wrong and who did what and why.
The first to address the committee was the Nigerian Customs Service. Its presence brought up more facts.
The duty bill was supposed to be 10,133,505 naira, .7474. But that duty was not paid. That duty was not paid because the same import had an import duty exemption certificate issued by the Federal Ministry of Finance. This import duty exemption certificate was issued that the beneficiary of this import duty certificate should have been Lagos State government through Armoured Motors Limited for the 18th National Sports Festival, Eco 2012. The end user number is 00001672 of 6 June 2013, and it was issued by the Office of the National Security Advisor. That's the information we have. It is all contained here to review.
The president of Coscharis Motors, Cosmos Maduka, led a team to the hearing. They spoke on the procedures followed on the purchase of the cars and other issues raised by the committee.
NCA, which First Bank financed, we were duly paid by First Bank. We delivered the vehicles to them. All the requirement that constitutionally that is required to bring the vehicle into the country, we followed all those due process. We were interviewed by SSS, we were interviewed by National Security Advisors, and they showed us, they issued the end user certificate for this vehicle to be brought into this country, and we follow those due process. Every requirement by law was duly followed.
When Lagos State was going to have the sports festival last 2012, again we were approached that they want to have the sports festival, and we said, okay, fair enough. We gave our proposal. Now, the interesting thing usually is that between the event and when you eventually get the waiver, it's either that it's at the twilight of the event or even after. So we will normally enter into an MOU to say the cars that we have in stock will be made available for the use of the event, whatever event. It's not River State, we sponsored it last year, several events. So we enter into an MOU to make our vehicles available for the event, and then the waiver is then used to replace the vehicles that we have parted with. And usually the vehicles that we give from our stock for the event are used for the event, again FOC, and the duty savings are equally applied on those cars, and they are usually, offered to the government on a forced right of refusal.
The lawmakers also sought to address the cost of the vehicles.
If we were to pay duty, this car would be about 188 million. Again, I would like to crave your indulgence. It's not something we do in the public, but we have our template, our pricing template, how we arrive at our landed cost, the recommended markup by the manufacturer of 20-25%. We struggle to eke out 10% because of competition, etc. Again, if you allow me, I want to show you the price, the shipping cost, the cost of finance, our markup, the VAT component, and how we arrive at this price, and the discount that we extended to NCAA on the basis of the price at which the cars were sold.
The committee gave the Minister of Aviation, who was absent, an ultimatum to appear before the committee unfailingly on Thursday. The very next day, the minister arrived to face the House. It was the first chance to hear from the minister. She spoke on the role of her aides in the matter.
You may recall that there have been attempts to clarify issues pertaining to this particular procurement. In the process, some of the issues were further modeled up. I mentioned this in this regard, the first attempt at clarifying the issue by a coordinating spokesperson for the parastatals when he was first confronted with the allegation, without recourse to the minister or to the principal officer of the ministry and its agencies, described the information as mere rumor. This was followed by a statement of my SA media, who himself, guided by his perception of the duties and challenges of my office, and possibly even the danger to the person and the office of the minister. This is made evident by the fact that his statement focused on my personal security, safety without recourse to procurement process and policy file to which he had zero access. Although both inaccurate and innocently misguided, I understand the agency and the aggression, considering the sources the information was breaking from. The last official intervention in this matter came from the DG of NCAA, the agency charged with the oversight of the aviation sector, the agency that actually undertook the procurement. Whereas the DG was right in saying that the vehicles were not bought from my office, the anticipated positive effect of this correct piece of information was made by a remark credited to DG, suggesting that the agency was more concerned about issues of administration and information security that had no bearing on this issue. In this regard, we must bear in mind that DG was very likely guided by his concern about other types of information NCAA receives, such as critical airworthiness and other commercially sensitive information, which Civil Aviation Act mandates NCAA to protect. Let me therefore state emphatically for the record that there was no attempt to either deliberately mislead the public or conceal any information regarding this transaction, and also to formally apologize for whatever tension or perception the same result of the foregoing may have caused.
She also touched on her role in the procurement and on the legality of the purchase.
Another falsehood in publication and public domain relating to this lease financing agreement is that NCAA purchased 2 bulletproof vehicles again for Honorable Minister of Aviation. This is totally false. NCAA is therefore conscious of its obligation relating in particular to appropriation, and will never spend monies that have not been appropriated by National Assembly. It is in this regard that NCAA, within the framework of medium-term expenditure framework approved by the National Assembly as a planning to plan its budgets with regard to acquisition of operational and other security and safety vehicles for the next 3 years.
The proceeding became more heated when the lawmakers sought to know why she approved the purchase.
You did an approval in black and white here. Do the need. You said approved. Kindly do the needful. You have given approval. You have said they should go ahead. That's my interpretation of this in law. You have a you have what I want to establish, that you have hit, you have exceeded your threshold. This should have gone to FEC.
The minutes on the document was very explicit. It said approve, but do the needful. A minister and every minister will approve implementation. A minister does not execute. So you cannot expect the minister, the intent of the memo is approved. But for the memo to be executed, it has to go through a process.
Tell us when minister approved and said do the needful. What did you do?
When we got the approval of the Honorable Minister with the directive we should do the needful, we interpreted it to mean that we should go through due diligence within our system, and that was what the procurement departments went through.
Security inspection vehicle, 2 numbers, for safety and security purposes and inspection of perimeter fence. There's nowhere in this narration that states armored vehicle. Armored and security are 2 different things. Bulletproof for patrol of perimeter fencing. The minister, you are telling us we've approved. And what we've approved for you to do, to spend, is 240 million. And even if it is MTF, even if you say it was MTF that was approved for you, and you base your approval based on the MTF provision, supposing it was even 643 as alleged, at the end of this loan, you would have paid close to $1 billion. Where will you get the money? Who gave you the approval to spend or to commit? Because commitment, of course, commitment is commitment, and you must pay. Supposing the National Assembly refused to approve 2014 budget to that tune, it may estimate, so you wouldn't have gone ahead to spend money, in anticipation. So I'm saying, I think you need to look at your documents well, and of course, we asked NCAA yesterday to submit a document, because from even the submission they sent to you and the approval, there are discrepancies. What is alleged to have been spent is 643, and the approval you gave is 560 something. Check all the documents submitted by NCAA, so there's contradiction here and there. So I think there's a need for you to cross-check documents, cross-check facts, and before you append your signature, you know what you're appending signature for. So I'm saying that the National Assembly did not approve for you to spend this amount of money, either by way of your budget or MTF.
After the NACA official was questioned some more, the committee brought the hearing